the hardest part about this podcast is actually trying to figure out what jumper to wear. So I don't look like I'm wearing the same work uniform all the time.
When you're in the pool community, people who play pool like talking about pool. Like if we were down at a pool hall, we'd just be talking about what's going on, right? We are recording our 10th episode. We've made double digits. Congratulations. At the time of recording, we've actually only published 8, and we are over 7,000 subscribers now as well. So, big thanks to everyone who's watching and giving us support and feedback and comments, good or bad. Like, we love it all. We want to hear what everyone else wants to hear. So
Marty only tells Mick and I the good stuff. He keeps all the bad stuff to himself.
Soon he'll look like us.
Yeah,
that's right.
I just want to thank All-Star Pool Tables. JR just had my table delivered. I did play at the Gippy Cup, and I told you they were absolutely awesome, the tables down there, and there was no complaints. People loved them. Probably some of the straightest tables I've ever played on, and I wasn't joking about that. I just had my one delivered yesterday or the day before, and I've got the new Liberwin, I think it is, the Chinese 8-ball cloth on it. First 8-ball table to have it on. I've done about 15 minutes on it so far, 20 minutes, and it's really, really nice.
Great.
Table play is pretty true. The cloth is reactive, but it's not. So I thought it was going to be super quick. It's not. It's about the same pace as a normal 6811 cloth, but it looks nice and it feels nice and all good. I think it's going to be good. So I think JR wants to continue possibly using it. But I was going to get Mark over or yourself or whoever to try it out to give JR some feedback as well. But so far, I think this table in here, and I played on Mark's table as well. This table, I think, is probably one of the nicest tables I've played on since I've started playing pool. I'm not saying that because it's JR's table. I'm just saying the way it runs and the way it is. I'm over the moon. I actually didn't think I could have a table here that plays that well. So I'm cheers, JR. You've done a great job.
Looks absolutely mint, and people can see it on the Mick Scary 8-ball channel on YouTube. Go and have a look. He's put a post up about there. It looks really schmick.
It is.
So Mick's just got a new pool table. Robbo and I are both organising a Joy Heyball table to come kind of later this year, early next year. So we're going to be in a situation where there's kind of 3 brand new tables on the podcast. We'll have to do a little bit of a contrast and compare.
Well, if someone wants to sponsor me a table, I'll figure out somewhere to put it and I'll practice it too. No, I got no room for it.
You need a second level. And a quad garage.
At some stage, when we get a little bit closer,
in the garage at the moment.
Mick, I think you said you were going to get Steve Falzone from Chalk and Cue to get you a cue.
Yes, he's going to make up a bunch of cues, and I'm going to go there and just try them. I'll know, honestly, any player that plays a game at a reasonable level and knows how to play certain shots can pick up a cue, and within literally 2 or 3 minutes, they can work out whether it's a good cue or not. So he'll make 4 or 5, obviously, for himself, and he'll obviously have them spec'd certain ways. And I'm just going to try this one, have a quick hit, try that one, have a quick hit. Whichever one I like, that's the one I'm going to buy.
Yeah, I think, Robbo, I don't know what you're going to do, but I'll be searching for a cue to use for Heyball as well.
Jamo's very keen. Obviously, he likes it, plays it. He's messaged me about playing it as well, and I said I'll play it as soon as I get a cue because I want to be able to go down to a club like Legends or something and actually practice with my cue and practice. I want to learn how to play. If I'm going to go down and waste my time to drive up there and play, I want to learn something from it as well. I just don't want to go and have a hit. So I'm not going to go and have a hit with a random cue. I need to buy a proper cue and then practice it, and that way, can play with one of you guys or Jamo or whoever.
One question I've got in my mind is whether I've got a break cue that I use for 8-ball. I've got a firing line break cue. Can I just use that for Heyball, or is that going to not be a big enough tip?
I haven't played the game yet, obviously, like Mark, but I got told that the breaking cues for that game, they do make a difference over a breaking cue from like a 9-ball. So I think they're designed a little bit differently. I don't know too much, so don't hold me to it. But yeah, if there's any feedback out there for what we should do, then throw it Marty's way and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, let us know if you're looking at this, and maybe in a future episode we'll do a bit of a roundup of what we've kind of learnt and what all three of us decided to do, because we're going to end up with some different stuff, right? We can do a contrast. And
Well, I'm
compare
hoping
from there.
Mark gets the table, and he's only 15 minutes from me, so I've got
Yeah.
a table there to play on. And if he wants to practice his 5 minutes for a major tournament, he can come down to my house and play down here his 5 minutes, and then go win a major tournament. So if he wants to do that,
Use your table for the 7-footers and mine for the Chinese 8-ball events.
There you go.
Sounds pretty good to me.
We'll just start
well done.
dominating.
Yeah, I think the difference with the Heyball, why you eventually do need to get the good equipment is, as I've put it before, is that game you constantly skill checked. That game, every single frame, you've got to do at least something once. You might have to knock in maybe the hardest thing you have to do, and if this is all you've got to do, that means you've got an easy out. If you've got to knock in like a 7-foot shot where you've just got to knock in a long stun shot and stun the white or screw back just a foot or something, that's still not easy to do, but most of the time you've got to do that, and you've got to screw the white up the table a few feet. Then you've got to play a shot with running side off 2 rails. You've actually got to do stuff. And if you muck up, you don't want it to be because of the equipment. I used a snooker cue and it was okay in the balls and stuff, but I did notice when I ever had to hit any little bit of power, if I was even half a tip off or a fraction of side, it was the shot was going to shit. So I had to hit things very, very, very nice all the time. I used my normal 9-ball cue to break with, but I wasn't even trying to hit it hard. I put the white off to the side, had my hand on the table. I did a break that I was happy with. I was getting balls in as much as other people, so I was okay with that. The jump cue I've got seems to be all right. Like I can jump the ball up in the air, no problem. But like I've said before, don't obsess over that. Don't go out and like you can go out and spend. It might cost you $1,000 to get some decent Chinese 8-ball equipment, and that's fine. That's probably a good amount to spend. But once you get that and you're happy with it and you're practicing, and if you're not doing well, don't go blaming cues and tips and chalks and naps on rails going the wrong way or some shit. You know what I mean? Like it's on you now. So go and get the good equipment. You don't need to spend $5,000, but just get some good stuff and then be content with that. And then work on your game. Spend the rest of your money on coaching or table hire, that sort of stuff.
Coaching and table hire is probably two of the biggest things that
I think
should spend their money on.
I actually had this topic as a question, but whilst we're talking about it, I'll just a quick comment, and maybe you guys can do the same thing. So I've been playing pool for a little over 30 years. In that time, I've had 3 cues. The first cue that I got when I was young, I had some coaching from Jack Halligan, and I said, "What should I get?" And I actually got a Barracuda Ash. It's just a machine splice.
Barracuda 6 was my first cue.
It's a machine splice cue. I think it cost me about $400, including the case. And I made, state teams with that cue. Like it wasn't a top of the range handmade cue from John Paris or something. And it just did everything that you needed to do.
As long as it works for you, that's all that matters.
That's right. It didn't need to be fancy. And really the only reason I got a different cue later on is because I started playing snooker and I needed something that I could put the extensions on. So that's kind of the only reason for change. Mick, some people had been asking about your cue. On the when we were commentating the EDPL final, I think people were asking about it on the chat. So can you tell us what your cue is? Like I know it's not an expensive cue, but it's just worked for you for 8-ball.
Mark?
You, Mick.
I've got a Dufferin, literally like off the rack, like 40-year-old, 30-year-old. I've had a couple of them, and they've been laid down to sort of my specs, what I like. And I've tried other Dufferins before and other cues laid down to this specific type, but they just don't hit the ball right. So you need a diamond in the rough. You might pick up 10 different cues of a similar make, but they all play different. The one that I've got now is a Dufferin, and the one I had before that was a Dufferin as well. I sold it to Charlie Hawk, and we won the world title with that one, and I won Victorian titles and stuff as well with that. So I was going to keep it, but I sold it to him. He wanted it. He said he'd give it back to me if I ever needed it. So I appreciate that, Charlie. He's a good man. But the one that I've got now is slightly a bigger tip. It's 8.5 mil tip, and I can use it for snooker as well. So it's still a bit light and stuff for snooker, but again, I'm a little bit different. I like maple. I don't like the ash and all that stuff pulling the bits and pieces out of my chin, and
It's
I
the
don't
one
like
thing I
seeing the
don't
line.
like.
I don't like the feel of the cues with lines in it. You know, I'm not going to mention names, but I like a smooth shaft.
And like that's just an example. Like, one person made a state team, one person won a world title. Mike, I presume that you probably always had reasonably good cues because you grew up surrounded by the sport and immersed in it. But do you want to comment on what you used when you were younger and getting started?
I remember my first cue being a Barracuda 6. I think it was like the number 6. And I got another cue because I lost that one. Disappeared. I remember putting it in you remember at Classic Cue, my dad's venue, the rack cues were in barrels. I don't know if you remember. And for some reason, I put it in a barrel and then it just vanished. So that was that one. Easy come, easy go. And then my next cue was a Paris. And I had that for a long time. And the butt actually split. And I always used that for 8-ball because I played snooker with it. I didn't even play 8-ball ever. Never played 8-ball around that time. And because I had like years off from the age of about 16 to 20. And then started playing some 8-ball, and I just picked up my Paris, which was always too powerful for that game. If you hit it with a little bit of accidental side and all that sort of stuff, and the touch in the field wasn't quite there, but I just used it because that's all I had, and I'm not fussy. And the butt split, I tried to get Rima to fix it. He couldn't fix it. And I said, "Oh, what do you have?" And he just I remember he laid out like a whole bunch of cues.
Yeah, I remember.
And I picked up one, and I must have played maybe 10 shots with it. And I said, "Yep, this will do." And I didn't even try any others. And I thought, this is great. That's the one I've got now. Geez, I've had that since Listerfield mix. 10 years.
Yeah. Well,
And
so the cue I have now is one of Ringo's cues, and I did exactly that. I just went, and this is what Mick's recommending and what Mark's saying. The best thing you can do is go somewhere where there's a bunch of cues to choose from, and just try them. Just try them and find the one that you like and get that.
Yeah, I got a funny story. Mick's just said, don't look at prices. That's a great tip. I remember being down at Potter's, and someone wanted my help to buy a new cue. I thought, yeah, all right. Anyway, so they had a cue rack there for sale. And I remember I grabbed maybe 7 or 8 cues out, boof. And I had the prices laid down so you couldn't see the prices. And I just laid them all out. I got him to test one, play a few shots with it. It was like a yes, no, or maybe pile. And eventually they all got separated, and they come down to like the last few. And he played with them, and he eventually chose one. And it turned out to be like one of the cheapest ones there, like $120. And he really liked it, but he didn't know the price. And the other two were okay. And what was really funny was when I showed him the good news, is one of the cheapest ones there, $120, he was annoyed. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, actually, maybe this one. And then he tried that one. That was like the medium price, $250 or whatever. And then the other one that he probably liked the least out of the three was like your $350, $400 cue. And he ended up buying that one just because it was more expensive. So he put down the one he liked most because it was the cheaper price tag.
Because it was cheapest.
Probably the most insane thing I've ever seen anyone do, like madness. Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, my one's literally a rack cue, so it's $10, $5-10, whatever they cost. But I mean, I wouldn't sell that for 15,000, 20,000. So
30,000.
There's a price somewhere.
There is a price for everything. I
And
would
Mix
sell
is
it for,
normally lower than most.
you know what? I would sell it for 20 or 30 now because EDPL's done. We lost, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Don't worry, we'll get around to that, Mick.
Well, if anyone's out there who wants to pay $30,000 for Mixed Q, let us know. Send us a message in the comments.
I'll do 20.
You'll do 20. There you go.
I think mine would be about $100,000. Yeah, I think I've done so much with it. I'm thinking like 20 or 30 grand. That'd be nice, but it all just goes on bills and the mortgage.
No, I need a new motorbike.
It'll disappear. It'll disappear. Like, it's got to be enough money that I'm like, yeah, that'll really help.
There's my beam.
Yeah. God.
Now, before we dive in, two other things I want to mention. The first one is, Mick, since our last episode, you won a fishing competition.
Yes.
Yeah, there's two sides to it.
There was
I won the
Photoshop.
biggest. I won the biggest fish, but there was two major prizes. One, basically an overall species count. So, biggest snapper, biggest gummy shark, biggest this, biggest that, and you just line them all up in a row, and it could be 8 meters in length, of different species. So whoever
But you
did
add
that,
them all together, the total
that's
of all
right.
the fish.
So you add
I
your
see.
biggest fish. So whatever the fish is, you could get two of the same fish. You just count the bigger one, and then a different species gets added onto that, then added onto that. I didn't have time to do that. People going out. It was only a week you had, and people going out 4 or 5 days catching all different species, and eventually the total was like 11 meters long. Mine was only like 2 meters because I only went out for one day. I caught a banjo shark, which was nearly a meter, a gummy shark, not a gummy, a nice snapper, and also a squid, and another small species of something, whatever it was. So yeah, mine added up only a couple of meters, but I was basically just going for the biggest snapper, and there was a couple of grams of prizes in that, and I got it. So it's not a once in a lifetime fish, but to get a snapper that's over 80 centimeters, between 80 and 90 is quite. It's not rare, but it's hard to do. So I was really happy with that. So fish weighed about 7 kilos, and yeah, got a couple of grams worth of prizes. There's another comp coming up in a couple of weeks. Goes for 10 days. It's called the Two Bays snapper comp. Biggest snapper there wins a boat worth about 20 grand or so, and some other major prizes. That's going to run over for 8 or 9 days, I think. And I'm going to try and spend a couple of nights out on the water this time. And I'm going to have to try a few different places as well to try and find a big boy.
Well, congratulations.
Good
Fishing
fun.
is not very well, but that sounds like a bit of fun, going to catch a big
It
snapper
is.
and winning some prizes for that.
Get
Check
nibs.
out Getting Nibs on YouTube, folks.
Didn't you catch it with just like a day to spare or something as well? Like right
No, I
at the
actually
end?
caught it. No, I was right at the start. It was probably 2 days into the comp. 2 days into the comp, and I went and took the kids out, and we got one fish that day, and that was the big fish. I've been trying for that fish for about 5 months earlier, and this year has been actually really, really quiet and really hard. Last year it was okay. The year before that was okay, but this year everyone's been finding it a bit tough. It's been tough out there, which is good. I prefer it tough. Like over winter is really, really hard fishing. Everyone packs their boats away, and only a few people go out in winter. And I went out last year in winter and the year before that and caught snapper, and people are like, they're still here. I'm like, they're always here. Some of them are always here, but the rest of them move. They leave the bay, they go out in the ocean, and then in the warmer weather they come in and spawn. So in the warmer water, they spawn in the warmer water, and then they leave in about December, January. So yeah, it's good fun.
Sounds fun. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is, by the time this video is live, people will already know, but we haven't actually published it yet. A couple of days ago, Jack Whelan spent some time with us, who won the Melbourne Heyball event. And I just want to say thanks to you, Jack. You were incredibly generous with your time, spent a couple of hours with us, and it was just fabulous talking to someone.
He didn't want it to end.
He didn't want it to end. Someone who's world-class at their...
He actually froze. He froze for about 5 minutes, and he was talking to himself at one stage. At the end to repeat everything.
But it was really great. So
seems like a really nice guy, really down to earth and everything.
Yeah.
It's like when I spoke to him, like I said, you almost feel like they're cyborgs, sent to destroy us kind of thing. Us amateur players, but you see they've got emotions and feelings and thoughts, and they're human as well. Yeah.
He's the kind of person.
He's the
kind of person. If you ever come down to Australia or down here for a few weeks, I'd actually like to play, whether it was 8 ball on an 8 ball table or even Heyball. Like I'd actually practice to play somewhere like that. I think it'd be good fun. So,
like I would like if he's down here again, or if I get the chance with guys like that myself, I will absolutely hit up for coaching. I will pay them good money.
I'll be there with
a few hours of their time.
Yeah, agree.
Mick Scary here and I, we got coaching from McHill over 3 hours. It cost us a few $100 or whatever, and it was the knowledge we got was absolutely incredible. You know, we've won thousands of dollars in return of that, and our knowledge and skill of the game went through the roof. And no doubt would be the same with Jack. You know, like you just got to see these people out. You got to reach out to them. Like I'd send him a message and say, "Hey, can I hit you up for a few hours of coaching? How much money?" And I'll just pay it, whatever he says. And then they know you're serious, and you pay them an amount of money that you're gonna get their A plus. Don't penny pinch. Don't go, I'll buy you a drink and cover the table high. They're not interested in that shit. Pay them the right amount of money, get their full attention. Take your phone down, set it up, and say, "Hey, would you mind if I just record this? It's just for me. I won't be sharing this information at all." So then you can go back on it yourself, ask questions, pick their brain so much.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what I'll be doing.
Correct. And
Yeah,
yeah, I'll definitely do that with you as well. So there's a reason why there's certain guys like Robbo and a few of the other big boys are always at the arse end of these tournaments, is because they go out, and when the best players around the world come down, like Mark said, you get some coaching off them. We told Mick some things that, maybe he agreed on, and then some of it he didn't, and we could then talk about it, and it was amazing. So I think a lot of the players were too scared to actually. I think a lot of the prem players or high level players were scared to actually get coaching off, a player like Mick, or even the Premier level players today that we play against. I don't see them ringing myself or Mark and going around for help. There are a few. I'm not going to mention names, but there's a reason why myself or Mark are always at the higher end of the scale, winning tournaments or getting close, or always outperforming someone on the table when it comes to tactics or strategy, just because we've learnt it, or we've tried to do whatever it takes to actually, get that information off Mick Hill or Jack Whelan, or, Jake's gone over to play them a lot, and he comes back with a lot of knowledge. And the first thing that Mark and I are doing is asking him questions. Justin Sage, like all these guys have got so much experience, and if we try and share it amongst one another, if we can, and I think this is what other people should be doing too, if they're really serious about taking that extra 5 or 10%. So,
Well, Jake's been asking me to play with him and become his practice partner, and it's in Jake's best interests to get my game as best as it can. So Jake would be looking to make me improve as much as possible, so he can improve as much as possible. He's not going to improve if I'm just a punching bag and he beats me 11-5 every set. I got to be taking sets off him. I've got to be pushing him. I've got to be challenging him. So he needs me to get better. These guys need us to get better. So when guys like Jack come down, they don't just lose to them. You got to get pushed. I think the problem is with a lot of, I call them state level players, or even Australian level players. They either think they know everything already, or they're scared to find out actually how little they know about the game. So they would rather continue doing what they're doing and smashing up locals down at the club and beating people for $20 and pumping them 11-4, making themselves feel good. But when they come up against a Tem or a Sage or a Rusty, they just lose every time. They just get out-knowledged, outclassed, out-skilled, out-experienced. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I completely agree with all that. So all three of us have paid for coaching with Mick Hill. And I think this has been a consistent theme actually through our podcast. Yes, get yourself a cue that you're comfortable with, but don't obsess over it. Obsess over coaching and structured practice. I see too many times people saying, especially in the club teams, "Hey, do you want to come down for a practice?" And they go down and they just play frames, but they're not even talking about what's going on, or they're not. It's a match, and match practice is important, but it's not structured learning. Like you've got to try and get tips. Why did you go that way? How did you do that shot? Or
that's right.
Let's do that one a few times over.
Yeah. When I started playing at Potters, when I first started, I was the same as the lower end players for a little while, and after a few months and after a year or two, I'd walk in and practice and do my thing and play people for money, and there'll be the same usual guys playing each other, which is fine. But even now, 20 years later, they're still there, still the same level, and I've gone up a bit higher. Like, you've got to it's okay to go there and play games, but if you do want to get better, you gotta source it. I think catching up on a Monday or Tuesday for practice for your team's event on an EDPL or DDPL, that's fine. But maybe get someone in for an hour or two, and like someone like Robbo or whatever, come down and show them some things that they can do, or maybe they can improve on, or just some 1%ers that might help them on a Tuesday night or a Monday night, whatever league night they have. Just Mark's got plenty of knowledge, Gus has got plenty of knowledge, and Rob Bowen's got plenty of knowledge. All these guys have got a lot of knowledge out there to actually teach other people how to, do certain things on a night to actually win more frames. And it's not just about the people out there; it's about your team. And it's about how you. I could go on a night. It's crazy the amount that I've learned over the 20 years and being in a team. So,
Mick, out of all the teams and people you've played with over the years in league, which is maybe 20 years now, I don't know, but you've certainly been at the very high level for 15 years or 10 or 15 years or something. I've lost track of all the years. Have you ever had someone, say, get like 3 out of 4 when it used to be 4 frames, or like 4 out of 6, and say to you, Mick, why didn't I get 6 out of 6 tonight? Have you ever had that?
they just say they're
I've never had it.
say
Yeah.
they're unlucky, or they missed 2 blacks. I'm like, well, where were the blacks? Oh, one was over here and the other one was over there. I'm like, well, then it's that you're mapping them wrong. When I land on blacks, I roll my last ball in, I just land on it.
Yeah.
People are
Yeah.
just all over the place, to be honest with you. And there's reasons for it, and we can get into, and I talk about it through coaching as well.
I remember, Mick, we had a lady actually ask us, she said, I've seen you guys, you never miss a black. And we pretty much said at the same time, that's because 90% of the time we're just on it, but you look at the lesser players, they've got to knock in some crazy big long cut, or it's always so difficult. That's the main reason why. Yeah, but there's not enough questions that get asked during the night. Like, I probably have had it maybe 5 times in all my hundreds of nights of playing pool. I'll be playing my own teammates. They never say, "Hey, Mark, I lost that frame. What was the main thing I did wrong?" Like, if I was playing in a team with
You
Mick
picked up the
Hill,
cue.
Chris Melling, Gareth Potts, and all these guys, like, I'd be trying to pick their brains enough to the point where they don't hate me,
Yeah,
but I'd be really asking them questions, I remember when I was playing some snooker and trying to get on the tour for playing with like Neil and Selt and Perry and them, I would ask them just enough questions like, should I have gone the long ball there? Should I have gone into the pack? Did I do it too harder? Should I have picked off a few more reds, quote some more points? There's not enough people ask questions. Baffles
that's right.
me.
I was at a good example of that. I was at a snapper talk last night. One of the YouTuber guys was telling his experience on how to bait, how to catch, where to go, and all this stuff. And it's $20 a head. I went there last night, and at the end of the night, I went up and said, "Hey, look, on certain days, and I'm going to be fishing here, and here for squid. And what are some of the 1%ers you would do to actually catch the squid if you're not, or the I'm just asking him a bunch of questions that are going to benefit me and my fishing in the future, not just seeing his show and then leaving. Go up to him and actually really put him on the spot and ask him some really juicy questions and get him to answer them. And more knowledge for me is obviously better than obviously not having any, I guess.
Mm.
People, I think people at high levels of things, they like a direct question with like an impactful answer. Like, I'd have no problem if someone come up to me and said, "Mark, I'm in second div. I've been stuck there for a few years. What's the most important shot you think I need to be able to play?" I'm not sure what it is yet, but I'd be able to think of something pretty quick. I'd be able to, like, okay, can you play this shot? And I'd set up something pretty basic that comes up in a lot of frames and see how they play. And I go, okay, you really need to work on this one. Go and work on this one and let me know how you go in 3 months' time. Like
Soft stun.
stuff. Hey,
Soft stun.
that's the shot I was actually imagining.
Soft stun across the tables, 90 degrees.
That was actually what I was imagining, was like a half ball soft stun shot. That was actually
Just
the
a
shot I was
touch.
imagining in my head. Yeah. That's funny that you say that. Because you know how many
It's the
people
touch.
can't do it?
That's right. It's the touch, and it's also when you're looking for a cue, that's the shot I'll be playing.
That's the shot.
If
Yeah.
my
Yep,
cue,
that's
when I
actually
picked
one
up
of the
when I picked up the cue at the Heyball the other day, I had 2 cues, like I said, and I just played that shot a couple of times, and that one did it better. And then I started I felt good, and that was it. Piss that cue off. I like this one. Yeah. I hope we know what
Well-
we're talking about.
Well, I mean, I can't.
fake it till you make it.
I don't understand the people that don't ask questions. Like when you said, has anyone asked that? Like I feel like I ask Rob Bowen all the time. You know, I didn't win that frame. Could I have mapped that differently? Like I'm asking those sorts of questions. I try and ask people those things all the time. And also, you know,
You can ask Rob if he's won his last frame, but if he's lost his last frame, that's not
That's
the time
right.
to ask him.
but also, you know, here I am. I started the podcast, and so far I've spoken to 5 different world champions. I speak to 2 of them every week. Like, you know, I like asking questions in case you haven't noticed.
Good.
Well, listen, they will come, Marty.
That's right. I will, I'll put this out there just for people. Like I haven't played outside of league night. I haven't played competition pool for a decade. I don't know if it'll be this year, but certainly next year I'm going to go and play some more competition pool, see how I go. I just want to test myself again, and I'm enjoying it.
Well, when you get your, what do we call them? Heyball table, Chinese 8-ball table? Like, what do we?
I think so. Let's say Heyball. I think they're trying to go
Heyball.
with Heyball because they
Heyball's
want
easier.
it to be a global game. They don't want it
Yeah.
to feel like it's just China.
Well-
So yeah, Heyball.
When you get your Heyball table and you start mainly playing on that, I think your 8-ball game, at least your skill, like your raw skill, will go up dramatically. Because it has to. How can it not?
How can I not?
can't
Yeah,
not.
I
When
Practice.
you're playing on that, let's say you play 3 times a week for an hour solo, and it's good practice. Difficult shots on that, you're going to go to an 8-ball table, and next to nothing will feel difficult. You know.
that is precisely the reason I'm getting it.
Yeah.
I want my Apple to improve, and I want my snooker to improve. And it's weird. Like I knock snooker balls around on an all-star pool table, and it just doesn't quite feel right. But on a Heyball
Practice.
table, I think it will be fine. Like that.
If someone actually asks me right now, what's the best thing I can do for my 8-ball game, I'll say go play Heyball, basically, and play it properly. Do drills. Don't play against anyone. Here's 5 drills. Do these 5 drills on that, and you cannot not get better. Like,
And then while you're lying in bed at night, watch mapping, basically. Watch how people map the balls, I guess, some of the top players. Practice on the Heyball table, and then watch. It's all about mapping. Mapping, practice, mapping, practice, mapping. Get those 2 together, you can actually make the game look very easy, exactly like what McHill does. One of the best on the planet at mapping the balls. It makes the game look easy.
Amazing.
Why? Because you can join the dots better than anyone else. Simple.
All right, so should we dive into a few topics? I've got to start somewhere a bit different this week. I'm going to talk about 9-ball. I don't think we've talked about 9-ball yet on the pod. And actually, I'm not really going to cover any games, but there's a tournament in Vietnam, in Hanoi this week, and the tournament was delayed. And I don't know if you caught any of this, but I'm going to show you why.
And we just had the unfortunate passing of Mika Immonen as well.
Yeah, that's right. This is what happened in Hanoi.
Well,
That's Jason Shaw saying I'm off to my match.
What time you play?
is that Jason Shaw? Is it? Is that his
Jason,
name?
Yeah, that is Jason Shaw. Yeah, one of the top players of all kind of American pool table sports.
big shot maker.
But yeah, so I hope everyone's safe in Hanoi, in Vietnam. That's an incredible flood. They had flash running through it. So I think they just delayed the start of the tournament for a couple of days because that was going on.
Jesus. Different.
He looks like he's having a good time anyway. But yeah, I hope everyone's safe over there. Let us know in some of the comments if you're interested in any of the American pool, the 9-ball, in particular stuff like what's the America versus Europe tournament called?
Moscone Cup.
The Moscone Cup, stuff like that. Like that stuff gets really exciting. I do like it.
I do watch a bit of that actually when it's
Yeah,
on. I know
Moscone's
Gus and Georgia gets involved in that a bit.
Yeah,
It's got to be the best vibe, like energy, like the 9, like I don't actually like when they play bad, I actually find that more interesting to watch because of the pressure builds. But I love the atmosphere in that. It's just crazy. Yeah, really draws you in.
Over to the snooker. So there's a couple of things going on in the snooker. The Xi'an Grand Prix is on. One of the most interesting stories, someone down the rankings. We talked last episode about Neil and Sean Murphy, who dropped down a bit and came back up. But another story kind of this week is Robert Milkins. Robert Milkins is currently ranked 56th in the rankings. A couple of years ago, he won the Welsh Open in 2023, and all of those ranking points are about to drop off. So Robert Milkins is on the cusp of dropping off the tour. So he actually needs a good run in this event, and maybe in the events coming up to the World Championship as well. If he doesn't get that ranking back up, he's under a bit of pressure.
Yeah,
So good luck to you, Robert.
It's always been a hit or miss kind of player, you know, really, really hard to predict. Crazy results, can beat anyone, but can lose to anyone. Yeah, but like, you can just tell it in his interviews, his personality and the way he plays. I don't think there'll be a lot in his life that's consistent. You know, he just seems like a roller coaster kind of person, where someone more like a Selby and these guys just kind of like, you know, but they do that just all the way up here,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes. Here's a comment from Ronnie. He's playing in the early rounds of the Xi'an Grand Prix. Now, Ronnie, I see him all the time. He talks himself down a lot. He can win tournaments and go, oh, I didn't play that well. Yeah. So Ronnie this week has said, sometimes when I'm practicing, I hit the ball so well, I feel bored. So he said he's playing the best he's played since 2013, I think it was. That's his comments from Ronnie. So he is talking himself up, especially after his recent kind of form like Neil beat him in the final, but he played exceptionally well in the semi with the 2 1-4-7s. So he reckons he's in good form. So
Well, sometimes
I don't know if that's Ronnie just playing the game with the media, or if he's actually in good form. Watch out.
You never
don't know. He could
you
be.
never know with him. Well, sometimes when I was practicing with Neil, he'd have days where he was just playing even exceptionally well. And I do think, is this actually boring for you? Like, you're talking like total clearance after total clearance after total clearance, like non-stop. And I think I'd just be so happy to get one of those. And you're doing them back like one after the other. Is the game actually just that easy for you now that this is just boring? Like blacks off the spots and then a blue into the pack, and like is it even challenging? Is the only part about this game challenging for you now is when the pressure kicks in, and how do you handle that?
You've got to deal with the mental game instead of just the physical game, because you've got the physical game covered.
Just because you've basically just got the game figured out now, And with shot selection in snooker, 5% of the time, all the top pros would probably agree with the same shot, and it's quite obvious. So you're not even really learning as much about knowledge, they're just too good. Boringly good. I played him one time.
Well,
I got sick of him.
Yeah.
I got so sick of him just because I break the balls, do a good break, he'd tap the table, knock in a long ball, and then clear. I got so sick of it. I played off the bottom rail with side and softly into the triangle back, and he looked at me and I said, I want a shot. At least I'm going to get a second shot now. It was just crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see if Ronnie delivers on his commentary anyway. We'll know by next episode whether he's actually made a deep run here or not. The other player who's getting a bit of attention is, after making the quarterfinals at both Wuhan and the British Open, is young Stan Moody. So some of the pundits are kind of saying he's stepping up to the plate. Is he ready? Do you think he's ready to kind of go to a final and perhaps win a big event?
How old is he now?
I think he's 19, I'm going to say. I'll figure it out.
19.
Yeah, that's probably about the age you want to. That's about the age you want to start knocking on the door. Start knocking on the door at 19. Start winning tournaments by your 21. I think you got to start doing that. I've watched him play and I've seen him around the table, and you hear interviews and stuff. You feel like he's meant to be a snooker player. He just
Do you
looks
think
like
that can hold him back? The expectations, because obviously you've been seeing him for the last 5-6 years knocking in centuries when he was 15, 14, 13, whatever, you think him knowing that I should be good, do you think that can also have an effect on how good you might be down the track?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who have
I
a
think
lot
he's
of.
actually gotten past. He's gotten past, like, the expectations were on him a couple of years ago because of that, and I think he's starting to get results now because he looks like he feels
Until he
like
wins
he deserves to be there until he wins a major. But he looks like when he's out there now, he's like, I don't think he's intimidated by the opponent anymore, and he just feels like,
No.
I'm here because I'm good enough to be here. He's still got to still win, of course, but he seems to be past that thing.
I watched him play a couple of the top, I think it was like Murphy and someone else, and he looked like he wanted to be there. He looked comfortable. He looked like he wanted to try and outplay his opponents. Yeah, I think he's going to be a winner. You know, if you love the game that much and you don't care about the other things, maybe like I don't know him, but like a Luca gets distracted by all the other things. You got a feeling like someone like Judd just loves playing snooker so much, and he just plays and practices and just wants to win and do well. That's all the endorphin and happiness he needs in life. But you just know some other players, and like, I don't know if Milkins is like, you know, is like a Luca, but you sort of almost get like the vibe that he might be, you know, get distracted quite easy. But if Stan's more like a Judd, where he just wants to play and practice and play in snooker tournaments and do well. You know, I think like Murphy's like that. Murphy just loves it, you know, from what I can tell, what I hear. Yeah, depends how he is. We'll find out soon.
We'll find out soon. And Stan has also got a YouTube channel up and running, and he's growing. He's posting pretty regularly. So he's, you know, perhaps that next generation who learns to deal with the media early on, and perhaps I hope he's had some media coaching. I presume they do that for the younger players now. But like that first generation of snooker superstars were just completely winging it, did not know how to do those things, and perhaps said some crazy things on camera. He seems to have a bit of good sense about him in that front. So good luck, Stan. You know, I hope to see you do well and keep moving on. Now let's talk 147s. Gary Wilson made a 147 last week. Judd Trump and Aaron Hill both made ones this week. We are now up to 13 147s for the season. Last year, there was 15 147s in the season, and that was a record. And we're only halfway through. Like, it's just insane that people are knocking in these big scores.
If someone came up to you, Mark, and said, all right, $1 million, you get to go to the club, you can just obviously you don't play the game much anymore or whatever, just you can smack the balls a little bit around the table, but you've got to now knock in a 147. How long do you think it would take you? And you've got, I'll give you like 3 months. Do you think you could do it in 3 months? I mean, you're not smashing the balls out around as in like, you know what, maybe not smash the balls. Maybe you can break off them quite nicely. So they, you know, 6 or 7 reds come out, but then you've got to maybe continue. Or you know what, you got ball in hand, I guess, and you can start ball in hand. You got 3 months. If you can do that, you win $1 million. If not, yeah, give me 20 grand. Would you do that? You think you could do it? 3 months with your knowledge of the game? Would you?
So you're saying
would you not?
break,
Would you not actually? Would you? Yeah, break 147. So would you not actually
break and then get ball in hand and then
yeah, just break, just a nice break, not blow the pack, but
Yeah.
4 or 5 reds come out, then you get ball in hand, go. Would you like not maybe practice for the first 3 weeks and just do solid drills and really sharpen up your game for 3 weeks and then
That's a
spend the
good
next
question.
2 months, you know, then trying to do it? Otherwise, you could be wasting your time for the first 2 or 3 weeks. Like, I know this is off topic, but sometimes I think about this weird stuff and I'm like,
Well,
I need someone
Good question.
to.
I think, I think I'd probably spend the first 2 months I'd probably spend the first 2 months just perfecting my game between, well, if it's a 147, then I'm just working the white around the black. So I'm just
Break
perfecting
building.
just break building, not long potting or safeties, or I'm just basically perfecting, I'm doing drills all around the pink. All around the pink and the black, and getting very good at sniping balls from underneath the pink into the middle pockets. So I'd be spending like a couple of months doing that, because I think if I spend a month trying to chase a 147, if I can't, like, and I'm chasing it, if I can't get it in a month, I'm not going to get it in 2 months. Like,
Would you give it a go for the first few days to try and quickly do it?
well, when I
Take,
was
take 2.5
practicing,
months off.
when I was practicing overseas, there was 3 drills that Neil did daily, that he completed daily, that it's just insane. He'd do the lineups, just any old how, and he'd do it just so easily. Yeah, it's not a hard drill, but you'd be surprised how many people still find a way to muck it up, even good players. And then he'd do this V. So the pink is here, and then like a V of reds, and then 5
Down
underneath the
towards
black.
the black. Down towards
Yeah,
the
so
black pockets.
like a V,
Yeah.
almost like you're racking the reds. And so there'll be 5 either side of the pink, and then 5 underneath the black, and then he'd clear that. He might miss one or something, but he'll just clear that. And then he moves on to a box drill, where it's like a box of reds. And then he might miss one or whatever, and then he'll clear that. And I thought, all right, I want to give these a go. And I challenged myself to try and clear all 3 drills in a row without missing. And Neil's table was super tight, super tight. I was practicing solo 4 or 5 days a week for about 4 or 5 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week for 3 months. And I finally did it. No one was at the club. I remember it's probably the hardest thing it is the hardest thing I've ever done on the table. I was doing that for about 3 months. And then I started playing games and stuff. And I almost knocked in a maximum on Neil's table. I got to the 14th or 15th black. I almost knocked in a maximum on Neil's table, super tight pockets. So that was after like that 3 months. So that'd be about what I think I would need. Yeah. Be
All right.
playing a hell of a lot and doing those drills, and then playing enough games that you can probably do it.
Those
What odds
3
would I
drills
be?
that you, those 3
Yeah,
drills
just be
that you
doing those.
mentioned, I've got them on a piece of paper still from 6 or 7 years ago when I asked you. I want to go down to the venue and practice for a couple of days. Give me some drills, and you gave me those 3. And I've still got them in my case. I can unfold them and check them out. They're really good.
Imagine like if there was a young snooker player, they're 14 years old and they're decent, they can knock in a century, let's say. They say, Mark, I want to really get good. I'll say, all right, do these 3 drills, and you're allowed to put your cue away and stop practicing once you've completed all 3. Not in a row. Once you've cleared the lineups, cleared that, then you can go home, and you're not allowed to go home until you've done it. The discipline that gets learned. And after 7 or 8 hours of doing that, your back's sore, your neck's sore, you've completed 2 of them, and you keep mucking up the last one, the mental toughness and resilience you're going to get, and the mental fitness is through the roof. But I don't know if anyone's capable of doing that anymore. I don't know if people have got the patience or the toughness to be able to actually do something like that. Don't know.
It's tough. Let me give you both a challenge for a future episode. You can think about this for future. Think about a set of exercises, like you've got that for snooker, like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 3 to 5, let's say, exercises that someone should do for 8 ball on a 7-footer, and then maybe a different set for Heyball. Like we're going to get to that mode. None of us have really actually started to practice that game properly yet. But
I've already done.
what would those exercises be, and then would they be different? Would be an interesting question.
I've done the Heyball, obviously, but I've done 6 exercises that beginners should do. I did that maybe 2 months ago on my video. So I'll send that one to you as well. But
So that one,
I'll
we'll put a
definitely
link
do
in the show notes for anyone who's watching. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
6 drills you should do if you're a beginner, something like that. Definitely worth doing. And these some of the drills that even I still do now. So it doesn't matter how good or bad you are. You know, some of the basic stuff, like if I was going to play in a tournament tomorrow, go back to Geelong and try and come second again, I would do these basic drills.
Well, let me put it to you this way. Let's say that you're suggesting some exercises for me to do. So I'm not a beginner. Call me like an intermediate player or a Premier League player, but not an elite player either. Like what are the things that I should do? And maybe that's a good kind of reference point.
2-ball rail, in-game mop-up, and 5 across.
Yeah. That's it. What
Those 3? Yeah, those 3. That's all anyone needs to do, including me and Mick. 2-ball rail, 5 across, and an in-game mop-up.
Yeah, and I've got them all on the YouTube channel as well. Mop-up drill and what he said. So they're all, anyone in Australia, if they did these every day for a month, however good they are, they'll be 20% better. Easily. So it's repetitive. You're concentrating on your cue action, your timing, and trust me, what you might think it's easy, but once you've done it, and then done it and done it and done it and done it, and you've done it 1,000 times, your cue action, your timing, everything will be mint. And then when you're out there and have to play one of these shots and not 15 of them in a row, it seems so simple. And you can take that semi-hard ball, knock it in, and then roll the rest of them in once you've mapped it out. Like trust me, it works. It works.
Hey, Mick, how good, imagine how good you would be, or how good you think you would be if you went down to just whatever Legends or wherever has a Chinese 8-ball table, and you did 1 hour of 100% every shot, just the 2-ball rail drill on those tables for 1 hour a day, 4 days a week. How good do you reckon your raw potting and just skill would be?
I reckon if I did that just for a month, I'd challenge anyone in the country for whatever they want.
Yeah.
That's how good
That's
I'll get very
that's how
quickly.
powerful with someone like Mick, who would, if he's
And I'm
there for an
serious about
hour,
that.
yeah, I believe you. If he's there for an hour and he's going to play, I don't know, a couple hundred shots or whatever, I don't know, and he's giving 100% to all of them, and every time he missed, he thought for 10 seconds what went wrong. Because that's the thing, when people miss, they quickly set up the drill. They don't actually really think about exactly what happened. And if he just did that and then done that for 1 hour, 4 days a week, yeah, it would be pretty scary to see that, just the raw skill increase, just never missing a ball kind of thing. Yeah. But it's hard to do.
Yeah,
It's hard to have that.
I've seen Jake on socials, and Justin Sage as well on socials, because they've got Chinese 8-ball tables at home, and they're putting the hours and hours and hours. You can just see they're getting comfortable at knocking in the drills, knocking in balls and balls and balls. And that's what you need to do. You need to be able to get comfortable, be able to knock in a ball, and then you can work on, mapping and all that stuff on top of that. But you got to learn how to knock in a ball first, before. There's no point in not knowing how to knock in a ball and then me saying, okay, pop this, land on that, roll off 2 rails here, stun that in, bit of top. Okay, well, how do I hit the first ball? Well, go and do your 1,000 hours there and then come and see me, put some time on the table, knock in a ball, and go from there. So, yeah. But I'll be doing all these basic drills.
I was thinking, like, why don't you do that then, Mick? And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, well, because you play 8-ball on a 7-footer, and most of the time the answer on the 7-footers is, when things get really difficult, just don't do it. Just play a safety. It's the answer a lot of the time. That's what you should kind of do. If it's difficult, then you shouldn't be doing it unless you have to. Whereas on the Chinese 8-ball table, on the Heyball's tables, you kind of have to a lot of the time. You've got to knock in good balls a lot of the time. You can't just run and hide always. The game doesn't work like that. Yeah, so I was just trying to work out, like,
Yeah.
why don't you just do that for a month? Well, it's because you play a game that doesn't require you to have such a high skill level.
If there
You
were,
just got to kind of play smart.
if there were 3 or 4 tournaments, if there was one Heyball tournament or a comp down here on every maybe 3 months or something, or 2 months, I'd actually go put in the time just for a few weeks or a month and get semi good at it. So therefore I might be able to snipe one of these comps here or there. But at the moment, it hasn't taken off that quick just yet, not down here anyway. So, and you've got to travel, and obviously with family and everything that goes on, life and fishing and pool, and just, if I do any more things, like, I'll end up being divorced and living with Mark again. So
No one wants that.
Hey, we had fun.
well, then we could practice. We could practice.
Which
Yeah,
table would you use?
I
Like,
won a
that's
couple of Australian titles. Doing
Yeah, then I
that.
couldn't. Yeah, so I was talking about how Jake needs me to get better so he can get better. I thought I need Mick to get better so I can get better. And so we did all this training, and all of a sudden he wins 2 Australian titles, and I couldn't beat him for 5 years. He got two. He got too good. That was bloody annoying.
All right, I'm going to move on. This is just going to be a very quick roundup of all the Heyball. So hopefully by now viewers have seen the Jack Whelan interview. But so Jack Whelan defeated Justin Sage in the International Open Melbourne stop. Right now, the Asian Heyball Championship has just finished. And I believe this one's kind of, Jack was describing to us that there's some of them are constrained by countries and some of them are not. So I think this one, because it's not an open, was just constrained to Asian countries. So that was won by Sandeep Gulati from India, defeated Ali Podel from Iran. And I think I saw somewhere he's like the first Iranian pool player who's made a major final. So congratulations to him and to Sandeep. I've not seen Sandeep play before.
Congratulations.
But I saw that he's like a 6-time Indian champion. So must be a great player with some good heritage. So congratulations to those two guys.
Well done.
US $24,000 for the winner in that one. Nice little
Nice
pot.
one. So probably about 35 odd.
40.
35 Aussie, something like that. Yeah, nice prize. Nice prize.
Yeah.
The International Open Thailand stop is on right now. I think I was trying to figure out, is that the one that
will be up there playing in it?
I think they were going to go along and have a look.
Yeah, I think they're playing in it. No, I don't know.
They're playing, but they're not playing in the Heyball.
Not with those sticks.
Well, they're having fun.
Hi, Timmy and Kev. I hope you're having a great time out there. The Asian
Timmy
Heyball
did change his flight, though. Sorry, Timmy did change his flight.
Yeah.
He was meant to be in Thailand with Kev in the finals, but we made finals, and he stuck to his word if we made finals. I said to Tim, we need you for finals. And he goes, if we make finals, I'll change my flight. So, I don't know, it might have cost him $1,000 to change his flight or something like that. And he did. Change his flight,
you,
stayed with us.
Good on him for doing that. I'm not sure it sends a great
man.
message to the team that he booked it in the first place before when the grand final was going to be on.
No, they changed it. They changed it because of the Worlds, I think. We had a big gap, like a 3-week gap.
That's right. They pushed them back. It was
Rob Bowen and all that screwed us over by going to the world titles.
So we were talking about, Jack, I'm not sure if it's the Asian Heyball Open or the International Open Thailand stop. No, it must be the Asian Heyball Open because that's in Iman, Jordan. So that's the one that he must be playing in. So they're $15K and $10K. There's a US dollar prize pots, and then in November the World Championship is coming up with a $30,000 US dollars for the winner for that one. I think that's in Cup Weekend. That was the week of Cup Weekend. So plenty of Heyball going on around the world.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There is a lot, yeah. When that event is on, I noticed that so Gareth Potts is coming to Australia to play in the World Championship, and he's going to do a show at Club 9, which is the new venue in Sydney. So if you're up in Sydney, get along to see Gareth Potts down there. That looks like it'll be a good show. I believe Jake's going and Rusty's going. So Gareth is going to challenge Jake and then challenge Rusty, and then do open challenges to the audience as well on a 7-footer or a Heyball table, like a bit of a mixed bag there. So should be a good show.
So, like, if you're all these young aspiring players and you want to do really well, think about how much money you're spending on Q Sports or for whatever. Like, I'd seriously consider booking a flight and accommodation, all that for a day might cost you $500. Get in contact with Gareth. Say, I'll give you $500 for 2 hours of your time. I don't know if you'll do it or not or whatever, but at least try and do that. So you're going to spend $1,000. And think about what you're going to get back, and look at all the money that's available in this game, in this Q Sport right now. There's thousands and thousands of dollars. What's spending $1,000 on something like that? The return that you would possibly get. Someone like a Sean Dempsey, a Jack Green, these guys, this is the thing they should be really doing. I mean, I would even consider it. Like I would absolutely consider doing what I just said just then. I think for $1,000, nothing.
Yeah,
I just won. I just won it.
Yeah,
I just won. I haven't played the game before, and I just won $1,500 at the tournament here. I'm thinking if I had 2 hours with Gareth and I recorded it, I'd know all the right things to ask, and he'd know all the right things to show me. And if then I went and practiced for 20 hours before this tournament, I absolutely could have won it. 100% could have won the tournament, and that would have been worth. What, 20 or 30,000? I don't even actually know. Something like that. Probably 20 grand or something.
Yeah.
and now I've got that knowledge forever.
Yeah. I don't want to speak on Gareth's behalf, but I believe that show's on the 31st of October and the World Champion starts the next day on the 1st of November. I suspect he'll be focused for that week. I don't know how long he's in Australia though for. Like maybe there's other opportunities.
Then you pay him
But
$20,000
definitely,
for 2 hours.
even that show,
there is a price to
if
get
you
him
get
out
to
of bed.
see, you get to see, if you get to see Gareth, Jake, and Rusty in a show where they are talking about what they're doing and playing, like that is 3 world-class players doing their thing. Even the show itself would be fabulous to watch and you could ask, like the point of those things is you get to ask the players questions. So, go along, ask Gareth to talk through and out that he's playing. Just even that kind of information is gold. It should be a great show.
We'll get him on 8-Ball FM.
Gareth, if you're out there, we'd love to have you on. Check your DMs. I've messaged you. Now, the last thing that we need to cover that happened during the week was the grand final of the EDPL-DDPL
There's no time left. There's no time left.
Combined Premier League. If you love hearing us speak, Mark and I did the commentary for that match. It's on YouTube on CUES TV. CUES TV, one of the great streamers of pool.
Yeah, we lost to the better side that night. They were down by, they were down actually the whole night. We were up. They were up 2-0 at the start, I think it was. I think we won the next 6 in a row or something like that. Yeah, they were behind by a couple of frames. I don't know if our boys got a little bit too comfortable, maybe. I'm not sure. But I did say you got to be careful because there will be a turning point. There will be a change. And I said that, I think, when they were within a frame. And then they got literally in front of us by a couple and we couldn't sort of peg them back. It was, it felt like either we'd given it too much at the start or, I don't know. They just, Gus's side, they all did what they needed to do. And I think Mark said, we were talking about it yesterday, I think it was, Steve Brosnahan and Sean Walpole, getting, I think it was 8 frames between them. Like that, that basically just seals the deal. Like I've spoken about this before about your lower end players. If they can get 2 or 3 frames each, your top end players are more than likely going to get your 4s. Average 4.5 kind of thing. And if those bottom end players that are only meant to get your 1s and 2s, if they're getting 8 between 2 people, you're almost impossible to beat. So good on yous. Well done. You guys were, pretty much one of the best sides for the whole season. And you won like 11 or 12 in a row, I think. So congratulations.
Yeah, that was the Fletcher Rebels that got up against the Green Tables, captained by Gus to Giorgio. So well done to you all.
I think for me, Sean Walpole was the man of the match. I don't know how many mistakes he made. He made his mistakes, but when he got that second chance and he actually had to make some pressure clearances and he made them. I was quite impressed. I had a little chat to him afterwards, just a quick little mention that I thought he was fantastic. He could have easily, if he just made some more mistakes or had a bit of an off night, he maybe wins 1. But he turned up under the most amount of pressure and wins 5 and was a big part of them getting the win. So I thought Sean was great and everything, yeah. I thought it was a good match. I thought the standard was good. It's very rare in a grand final and that sort of thing is the standard really high. It just isn't. It's too much pressure, and quite often a lot of players, even though it's the Prems and it's the grand final, a lot of them still actually lack experience in that sort of environment. Mick, I thought you played very well, and Gus did enough at the right times, and yeah. But I think for me, Sean was the difference. So it was a good win.
Agree with all that, and so congratulations to Sean Walpole. The other one, which was kind of the story of the night for me, was Logan. Like we watched Logan in the commentary, and I think we saw his first frame and said to each other, "This could set Logan's knot or break Logan's knot." And he lost that frame and actually really struggled emotionally. It was difficult. Like you could see the emotional ups and downs, or lots of downs.
He was hurting.
He had a bad night, but came back and won the final frame of the night to get over the line. And I think that kind of lifted his spirits a bit. So
put a huge
we were
smile
feeling
on
you
his
out there,
face.
Logan, and it was a good emotional story.
And well done to Mark and Marty too for doing the commentary, coming down. So if you guys want to go back and check it out, you got 2 very good commentators right here. And I will do a shout out to Trent Reinheimer. Yes, there it is. Thank you again for being there as you are. You didn't get a run. I think he was going to get a run at one stage, but he decided to say, you know what, we're fourth round in, keep it going. He kept himself on the bench again, and he'd been doing practice. I went down and played some snooker with Trent last week as well, and he was ready to play, but didn't get a run in the semis or the final. So that's what a team's all about. So cheers for that, Trent. Thank you again for the season, and I think I'll see you this Tuesday. We're playing in a summer comp. I very rarely play summer comps, but I think I'm playing in a 4-man singles and doubles on a Tuesday night down at Frecker. So should be good fun for about 12 weeks.
That was one of the few predictions Mark and I got wrong for the night, was when will Trent get subbed in? We thought it might be round 5 or round 6, but we got that one wrong.
Should have been 4.
Yes. All right. Well, I'd like to finish on a shot of the week. I've got one for you that I've been saving because I didn't know if you had seen it. All right. I don't know if you remember this one. It came past, so I've deliberately kind of saved it because I wanted you to forget it. So this is on the black. I want you to give me your prediction for where that black's going to get potted.
I'm going to say bottom right.
Now, what's your prediction? Scary, you said bottom right, did you? Bottom right. Robbo, where do you think it's going to go? This black ball?
All right.
Can I change it? Middle
left on the
left.
black.
Middle left off the red.
I think
Black
he's going
goes
to come
maybe
off
top rail.
I reckon he's going to come off the bottom rail into the right side rail. Then the black is going to hit the top rail and go in the left middle off the red.
Yeah, I that's what I was.
Let's see which one of you might be right.
Left table, sudden. It's got a little bit. Since Ireland have come back in, Northern Ireland now trying to dig in, put a foothold in this, stop this, we sort of stem the tide. Well, if the 8-ball goes in,
I was right.
That's not bad. The only thing he hit it direct and he actually potted that red into the center, and it came off the red half ball.
I've only got one criticism, and that's the camera work. Just leave it on the stop being too clever with changing camera angles, because you only got to actually see half the shot.
I said it's going to come off the red, off the top cushion, and in the middle left. And I think that's what happened. I didn't actually get to see it.
That is what happened. Yeah.
You saw him line it up though as well.
I'm going to get you to comment on one more, just because we might do a little short of this. This was this is the final between Justin and Jack.
This one.
Jack is leading 10-8, and Justin has an opportunity for an out here. This is the turning point that a lot of people commented on. Justin's made a big.
I never saw it. Was this a 6-ball or something?
Yeah, I'm just going to go back a little bit.
Yeah, I spoke to Justin about this one
because
he was in pain after this shot, and I haven't actually seen him like that before. I spoke to him about it. I'm like, hey, this one seemed to hurt you. I haven't seen this out of you before, and he spoke to me a bit about it.
Yeah, I'll start from here so you can see. So Jack misses, and you can see he knows he's near the finish line, and that he's given Justin an opportunity. So you can watch Jack's reaction and then what Justin does.
I think that shot there that Jack
was playing to stop on the 4, he hasn't done, and cue ball in. Oh my!
So a really unlucky in-off for Jack.
That is a ridiculous kiss on the 4 ball. He's played to stop on it full ball. Ended up glancing it.
It's actually just a bad shot, really, but yeah, I'll be harsh.
I was just about to say, being 2 frames up with time ticking down and you're at the table, you're in the driving seat. Now ball in hand for Justin anywhere on the table. And this is where he's going to need a bit of speed.
Is that a 5 in the center?
Good thing is, this is how he usually plays anyway. So it's not as if you are now purposefully rushing the shots.
See, he's overran the white there. The white was meant to stop about a full ball back, and he's supposed to be straight on the 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's rattled him a little bit. And
What are the chances that we see a penalty shootout in the final?
he wasn't.
Haven't had one
Actually,
on the TV table yet,
no, maybe
at
he
least from stage 2 onwards.
was supposed to leave the 5 there because the black goes to left middle.
Yeah, I think the 5's is connector.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I think he tries to move the 9 here so that pocket is open for the 1. Actually, maybe
Yeah,
that's not true.
right there. You see him look. Does it go off the 9? And then I think he hits it in between. You know, he doesn't commit to it properly.
The 6.
And Jack leaps out of his chair really fast.
That's why he's caught that thick. He was trying to hold the cue ball.
And you can see Justin
took his eye off the pot there.
knows that was his chance. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching that one live, and I actually went I flinched. He just doesn't miss shots like that, you know. And you could tell it's because of the 9. If he just was a clean pot, he's never missing that. But he wanted to go off the 9 to thicken up the potting angle, maybe kill the 9, take a little bit of pressure off, and he just didn't commit to it. Yeah.
It's a hard one when you think, oh, I kill the 9, take some pressure off, but then also you can also lose position too. You know, we've all done it. You're probably better just to think, okay, maybe the 9 doesn't exist. Let's just continue on. But, you know, he was probably not even thinking about that. Who knows? We don't know. So, yeah.
Yeah. Justin did do a really good recap of the past 3 tournaments the last couple of weeks on his Facebook page. So for anyone who's been following Justin Long, he did like a 2-part video where he just talks about how he performed and his reactions to some of these things. So it's nice to see, again, some of the humanity from the players and how they're feeling about those things.
Yeah, I'll check that out. I haven't watched that. I'll watch that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've become more
posted that this evening.
In just maybe my older years now, I'm becoming a lot more interested in sort of just getting people's thoughts on how they feel a lot of the tournaments and the practice and the travel and everything. I'm finding it interesting. I spoke to Justin before. I said, I think I said on here that he loves the, you know, traveling around and playing and everything like that. I mentioned it to him and he says he hates it. Like, he says, like, as in like traveling around to tournaments and stuff. He says like he's been going for like 4 weeks straight now and he's cooked. You know, he wants a break from it. You know,
I would find that so difficult.
I was telling everyone that you love traveling and you just, you know, you get your suitcase and your queue and off you go for weeks and you travel the world and all that. He's like, no, he says my idea of a holiday is, you know, going to like a nice beach somewhere and having drinks and, you know, nice food and restaurants. And he said, that's the holiday for me, not traveling around playing. So it's like, oh shit, I had it really wrong.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, I did a lot of traveling for work and it sounds very glamorous until you do it all the time. And when you're just living out of a suitcase in a hotel room, it's difficult. And when you've got, like nowadays, you know, a family and kids, like, you know, and this is what I was trying to ask Neil and Jack, that, you know, both have families and kids. It's difficult to leave that at home and go away for weeks. And the support that you need from your partner to try and help, to try and deal with those situations by themselves whilst you're away.
Yeah.
You know, it makes that stuff really difficult.
It's like the snooker tournaments. You'll see, let's say Ronnie, you'll see him playing in China and then results happen. And then a week later, he's in Ireland and he's playing. A week later, now he's in Wales. And you just see that. But what you don't see is the planes, trains and automobiles, you know, all in between. You know, you go, there's a lot of international flying. So you're getting Ubers and taxis to airports and then you're waiting there for hours and then you're boarding and then you're flying and then you're getting your luggage and then you're traveling and getting to the hotel. And it's a lot of boring travel involved, you know, but when we just watch online, it's like they teleport, you know, they just teleport.
Why don't they just have a plane for the snooker people? Just fly in that direction.
Just fly them all around everywhere.
Yeah, Barry Hearn.
So much money.
Where's your PJ? Get the private jet out.
So much money. I suppose you don't want it to go down because if it goes down, then snooker disappears. At the end of the day, the one that's have a separate plane and 30 or 40 of them can jump on and a little bit gets taken out of the money or the whatever. It's like peanuts in a way.
Well, they're all going to different places, aren't they?
Nick gets his private jet. We're going to get him to fly us around everywhere.
FM, Emma is going to buy a private jet one day.
Yeah, right.
And we're going to fly to you, and we'll do a live podcast at people's places around the world.
we'll have like a Heyball tour. We'll go to India and then China and then America and Germany. We'll just travel all around everywhere on that 8-ball FM jet.
I know Joe Rogan loves his 8-ball. So Joe Rogan, if you ever
He does.
ever hear this message, I'd love to fly up there and give you a game, maybe even teach you a few things. So here it is. If you're listening to this one day, and if it reaches you,
Get on board 8-ball FM, Joe. We'd love to have you.
that's right.